Potion seller, I'm going into battle and I need your strongest potion.
Yeah, of course. Here you go.
What? You're not going to, tell me that I can't handle your strongest potion?
No. Here, take it.
Well, thank you.
Careful now.
So, in Quacks of Quedlinberg, you and your friends take the role of potion sellers over the 9-day potion festival at a little known place called Quedlinberg. Throughout the festival, you and your friends will be making the best possible potions you can to get as many victory points as well as general money points to try and make better potions with better ingredients to get more points and bigger, better potions. And at the end of the festival, whoever has the most points is the best at potions. Ugh. Whoever is the last player to have received a complaint from the Food Standards Agency goes first. Well, that was something peculiar to say. But actually, it isn't. Because you see, you aren't actually master potion sellers. You are instead charlatans. Quacks, if you will. And you're trying to fool everyone by making your potion bubble as brilliantly and violently as possible, filling it with bubbleweed to make it seem more impressive and more, well, bubbly. What could possibly go wrong? Explosions. That's right, if you put too much bubbleweed in your potion, then, well, things rapidly get out of hand and explodes in your face like so much hot, bubbling liquid. And that's the last thing that you want. But how do you make your potion? Well, Quacks of Quedlinberg is basically a bag builder, which is just a fancy way of basically saying it's a deck builder. By which I mean you start the game with a bag full of basic standardized components and hope that over time you can, buy better components, put them in your sack to hopefully ultimately make a better potion. So just continue that cycle. Your sack is your deck and your bits are your cards. Wait. Each round you're all sat around the table just jangling your sacks in your own hand. Wait. Reaching into your sack, taking a firm grip of something and just hoping to pull out something that won't make you explode. Wait. Each component has its own different special ability that is ultimately variable between each game. So it's that variance and trying to work out how all of these different pieces all fit and slot together to create this incredible potion engine of potions that has you just spiraling around, trying to fit every component and piece into one functioning potion. Quacks of Quedlinberg is so good. It combines two things that I love, being, well, deck builders, by which I mean you build and acquire components in what is basically trying to fulfill the latest and greatest harebrained scheme of yours, but ultimately kind of random, and also gambling, by which I also mean pushing your luck, because obviously you're blind drawing one component at a time, having it to put it down as you go around your board. And you might just want to go that tiny little bit, oh god, further and further each and every time, hoping that maybe this extra last piece, it might work out and you should do it. But should you do it? Oh, it's wonderful. Slowly but surely, you'll be building up your potion and building up gas, in which you'll have to stop and think. Because you see, I've currently got 5 gas, but my rummaging hands in this sack tell me that, well, I've got 10 tokens left, and as far as I'm aware, only the single 3, is enough to push me over that 7 gas limit and lead to my demise. So that basically means I can never die. I need a drink. It's just so good. There is an inherent sense of tension around the entire table as someone might have an explosive start racing around their potion as they draw, all their good things, but everyone's acutely aware that with every draw, it's just getting more and more likely for them to draw that air. Or on the other hand, someone might start out the round, by drawing 6 gas. That's pretty bad, but statistically speaking, everything else in your bag, well, most of it is not gas, so there is a good chance that you can just keep drawing because, hey, let's be honest, the odds are in your favor. What could possibly go wrong with just drawing one more? Just, one more, come on now, just draw one more. Everyone always gets quite involved in everyone else's stuff because you see there's this spectator element as players slowly tap out of the round being like, I'm not going to push my potion any further, and you look around the table to see one player still in it, still having that deep math look on their face as they're trying to work out the exact possibilities of failure, trying to work out if it's all worth it. There's that 50-50 chance to just make a better potion. Does it all come together? They reach their hand in and, if they pull it off and it's a success, everyone cheers, it's a success, hooray! But then if they fail and explode, well, everyone else is laughing because they've failed, and that's funny, but everyone was invested in that moment. Quacks is just quite a funny game because you see, it is funny when a player does incredibly well one round. You're like, oh my god, this person's gonna race into the lead, and then the next, they immediately crash out because they've just gotten unlucky and drawn all the gas too quickly. Or, I don't know, it's funny when you look and see just the massive amount of rat tails that one player has because they're so far behind, and the rat tails are like the catch-up mechanic that works really well. Or the fact that everyone starts a round by collectively just jangling their bags like it's some weird ritual taking place. Or my favourite, at the end of each round, looking across the table and staring at everyone as they're, suddenly looking at a palm full of components that they didn't draw before they inevitably exploded, because the odds were in their favour, but instead they're left to just look at everything that could have been, all their hopes, dreams and wishes exploded in their face like so much hot, bubbling liquid. Also, my goodness, is this game really quite delightfully simple. In that, it's so incredibly easy to teach and explain and get into because you're just drawing tokens from a bag and placing them around your potion spiral for as many places as is dictated on the number. And also, I guess, counting to 7. If that's a challenge to you, I'm sorry. And it just means that it's easy to show people and easy for them to pick up and understand what makes this game tick and also what makes this game great. And I love it for how simple and spicy it is at the same time. Do you see an incredibly harebrained scheme amongst all these components that could lead to victory? Maybe. And sure, maybe at the beginning, exploding actually isn't that big of a problem because you're only losing 1 or 2 points, maybe 3 points, but getting that extra money early on really help out. But then later on, if you explode, well, you then have to go, well, I do need the points, but if I don't, then I fall behind in components. But if I, otherwise I just fall behind in points, and you have to start questioning whether or what you want to fall behind in. Or if you just want to push your luck at the very end, just for that extra bit of points, extra ruby that might just help you throughout the game and help you boost your flame and starting space ever further. There is almost an inherent magic to Quacks of Quedlinberg. Let me tell you a fun story. It's a story time. My friends and I originally played Quacks of Quedlinberg at a board game cafe. On the way back in the car, I loudly declared, I'm going to buy this game when I can. And then literally on my walk home, I got a message on my phone and it turns out that my friend had bought the game as well immediately. let me tell you something. This is my copy of the game. Then, again, when I was showing this to someone else who's not really as into board games as, well, all of this, she played it once, twice, and then sent me a message saying that this is literally what she has asked for Christmas, which now means that within my general vicinity, I have 3 copies of Quacks of Quedlinberg, and I don't think that's a problem. And then there's an expansion, the Herb Witches, who basically add a whole variety of components and bits and pieces to just spice things up. Not mostly in forgetting, well, a 5th player, now with a sack that is infinitely worse than every other sack in the game, as well as just new variants on the components, which, add an extra load of variety, as well as just an inherently brand new ingredient to really just confuse the heck out of you. And also a 6th pumpkin. A pumpkin with 6 on it. Imagine what you could do with that. Then there are the overflow bowls, which basically means, well, have you ever been building a potion and found you've gone all the way around the spiral and yet still have so much more to give? Well, now you can, because you can continue drawing components, putting them in the overflow bowl. They lose all of their special effects, but get you more points, which mean victory. And that's really good. Obviously, you still have that horrible risk of exploding and losing it all, but you can just keep going further if you've just accidentally become the potion messiah. Then finally, we've got the titular herb watches. They are like an extra thing which you can sort of pay off with each specific watch coin for color-coded to each watch, and their various watch bonuses are really interesting because they're ultimately one-off bonuses. They're designed to kind of help people who have fallen behind with various effects, but they're kind of useful all the time. So you have to ask yourself, well, do I use it early on when that watchy bonus might be useful to just kick me back into the game, or do you wait later and later into the game, waiting for that moment of pure watch power that may just, well, never come, and then you've wasted your watch coin because you just had a better go ages ago, and boy, is there watch on your face. The expansion is basically fine. It is functional, and it is, most importantly, quite cheap for an already quite cheap game. So it just adds that extra life and need to bring it to the table more as you experiment more. Because ultimately, and I don't know if I've said this enough, Quacks of Quedlinberg is incredible. It is so good, and I love it so much because of how just easily accessible it is, and just how easily you'll be enraptured by the swirling vortex of the potion. My pieces are so rubbed and worn away from how much we've played this game in, like, I want to say a month, maybe 2 months. We have played this an ungodly amount in just a very little period of time, and it easily finds itself on the pile of board games that are just my favorite board games of all time. And that's, well, Quacks of Quedlinberg. It is a delightfully simple but spicy game that is just really easy to deal with and is a perfect entry game to anyone in the hobby, but also a totally solid just game in general because it is just a fun afternoon's play. My God, I love it. And well, this review wrapped up a lot quicker than I thought it would take, so let's go make a potion. So today we'll be making some garlic and chili oil, 2 separate oils. You'll obviously need some chilies and some garlic. Previously when I've made this I used a variety of chilies but only 3 or 2 small garlics, and it wasn't enough garlic, so I've got 2 large ones instead and just some simple chilies because that's all they had. You'll rapidly begin to realise that the garlic was probably a mistake because it takes forever to actually unwrap and prepare. But ultimately, once you've eventually done that, you just going to kind of chop the ends of the chilies and bisect them, and just chop the garlic into rough chunks and rough bits and pieces. And using this method, you can ultimately just make sort of any kind of flavoured oil. You just put anything in oil, and it makes flavoured oil. I don't know. Could you put cheese in it? Make some cheese oil, or bread? Can you make bread flavoured oil? Should I be making bread flavoured oil? Oh God. Get a pan and pour about 500 ml of oil into it, and then just decant all your ingredients. Did you know there is this thing called garlic granules? It's basically like pure garlic essence. So I'm just gonna add some in. Also chili flakes. It's really important to heat the ingredients in the oil, especially with the garlic, because apparently it contains deadly botulinum bacteria, and the heat kills it, because otherwise you might just contract botulism once that bacteria grows in the oil you've left it in. This also boils off a lot of the water inside of it, so don't be worried if it's sounding very angry. If you're wondering as to when to take it off the heat, it's either when it begins to smoke, oh God, or when it begins to do that. Yeah, take it off now. Once you've left it to cool, feel free to give it a taste. And also the garlic one. Yeah, that needed more garlic. And then just simply decant it into your decanter of choice. You can also, if you wish to keep the chunks in. I rapidly again regretted this with the garlic. It looks like something's gone wrong. But anyway, that's how you make some oils or potions, should I say. Hi, and welcome back to the end of the video. I'm covered in Dr. Pepper in what I thought was a good idea. It wasn't. I'm really cold and wet and sticky, and so much Dr. Pepper is everywhere. Oh God. Otherwise, if you liked Quacks of Quedlinberg, let me know about Quacks of Quedlinberg. I absolutely adore Quacks of Quedlinberg. Oh, it's a great game. Anyway, that was the video. Let me know, blah 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 blah. I'm all over the thoughts because I'm covered in Dr. Pepper. Up here is a video about another board game called Aeon's End. It's a deck builder. It's fine. It's not that great. Down here is a video about a video game called Tales of Arise, which I really liked and keep meaning to finish any day now. Otherwise, you can click on my face and to subscribe on the face orb. Thank you and goodbye. I'm going to clean up.